9 months ago, I quit my job and I had to start over. And at the time, I was just 23, my last year of the early 20s. But that was, one of the hardest things that I had ever done. And now, as I reflect on that moment, I realized that although a lot of people speak about starting over in your 20s, not a lot of them actually speak about how scary and uncomfortable it actually is. So a bit of a backstory. 9 months ago in June of 2025, I quit my job after feeling overworked, burnt out, and depressed for a little over 7 months. At the time, all I did was work, sleep, and cry. I really didn't do anything to take care of myself. I had no hobbies whatsoever. I had lost contact and connection with my family members, with my friends. All I did was work and sleep and cry. And because I worked from home, I worked remotely, it really wasn't a healthy life. And I realized that if I wanted to have a life and if I wanted to remain healthy and salvage my mental health, then I had to call it quits, which is exactly what I did. I don't think I expected how uncomfortable it would feel, because all I was thinking was, okay, so my job is the source of my burnout and my depression. Therefore, cutting my losses would be a better thing, or cutting my losses would help me fix myself or my life. But I really, really wasn't thinking about how uncomfortable it was going to be. I was not expecting the aftermath to be that uncomfortable. I thought I would be fixed, but instead I was instantly overcome by this weird feeling of knowing that I made the right decision for myself, but also feeling like things had suddenly slowed down and that I had suddenly become way behind all of my peers. And because of that weird feeling and suddenly feeling and thinking that I'm way behind my peers, I was overcome by shame as well. And because of that, I kept this a secret from most of my friends and most of my family members. And I didn't really share this with anyone. And like I said earlier, I worked from home, so nobody could really tell the difference. I was living on my own, so no one would know that I didn't have my job anymore. And so I kept it a secret from everyone. I didn't want them to know anything that was happening in my life, but I knew what was happening. I felt it. I lived it. I knew every single bill that I had. I knew every single job application that I sent out. I knew every single, rejection email that I received and every single company that ghosted me. I knew all of that. And what it did was compound the shame that I already felt. At this point, I felt like an absolute failure and a fraud. I remember actually that around this time, this awkward period in my life, this is a bit of a sidebar, but I remember that I had a bit of a talking stage with a guy that I really, really liked, but I felt so much like a fraud that even that talking stage didn't really feel like something that I should have been doing. And of course, it didn't go as planned. I ended up cutting my losses because, he had a job, he had places to be. I was at home and I was lying to him too, telling him that I was working for this company that I worked for. My life just felt like a mess. It was just a mess. I was lying to everybody for no reason apart from me being ashamed of that point in my life. And so, as you can imagine, my emotional state just worsened, and it got so bad to a point where even being alone was unpleasant. And that is putting it lightly. That is for it to be YouTube friendly. But yeah, it ended up pushing me to a point where I had to pack up all my things and move in with my sister, both for financial and of course emotional reasons, because as I said, being alone just wasn't healthy for me at all at that point. Thankfully though, after about 3 months of trial and error in September of 2025, things started looking up, and financially and emotionally my life started getting cleaned up a bit. So you may be watching this video because you are in the same stage, or you're just about to start over, or whatever the reason may be. I just want you to know that I see you and I'm here for you, and you are absolutely not alone in this weird stage of starting over and feeling like you have failed, not just yourself but everyone around you, I want you to know that that is a normal feeling, but try not to focus on that feeling. Try to focus on the positive aspects of life, you know? But I get it. It's scary and it's uncomfortable. And, you know, sometimes you look around you and you sort of realize how life moves on for everyone else. Life continues for everyone else. Not everyone is in that position that you're in, you know? People have got their routines. They're sticking to their routines. They've got their stability. They're sticking to their stability, and they've got their own space. They've got their own lives and everything in their lives. From the outside looking in, you may think that it appears perfect, and there you are just trying to rebuild. There you are just trying to find your stability and to find your balance. And I understand that that can be scary and uncomfortable, but that is perfectly normal. And I don't even think it's about being behind as such. I think it's mostly the fact that you have stepped out of the normal flow of things, and now you can't really find your balance. You don't know what your next step might lead you to, and you can't find your footing. And of course, because you're in the dark, that is uncomfortable, because now there's no structure, there is no clarity, there is no direction. Everything is just a mess, and you just have to figure it out as you go. You know, of course, that will be uncomfortable for anybody. But hear me out. I think that that is just what starting over actually is. You know, it's not this exciting, fresh new beginning that you may see maybe at the beginning of a college movie or at the end of the movie or on your favorite influencers, you know, life update vlog. It's not perfect. It's not beautiful. It's not pretty. It's not aesthetic. It's not color coded. What it is it's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's scary. And it's certainly going to be rocky. It's going to have its ups and downs. It's far, very far from pretty. But I've also learned that there is so much power in embracing the discomfort and embracing the imperfection of this stage in life. You know, for roughly around 3 months, I was rocking back and forth. I was unstable. I was trying to figure things out, and shit was scary. But I have been in the stage that I currently am in for about 6 months, which is about half a year now. And I realized that I am happy that I embraced the discomfort. I am happy that I rolled with the punches and I did what I have to do, or what I had to do, to get to this point that I'm in, you know? So I think that there's certainly so much beauty and so much power in embracing the discomfort. But of course, from hearing everything that I'm saying, it's clear that I am not where I started in June of 2025, but I'm certainly still not where I want to be yet. But even though that is the case, there are a few things that have helped me get through the discomfort, or there are a few things that have helped me find my balance throughout this process of starting over. And I thought it would be good for me to share some of those with you, as they might help you out. So the first thing is reducing the use of social media, and this is very important and very crucial, because social media nowadays is a stage. It is a place for perfection. On social media, everyone and their mom and their cat and their dog and their kids and their entire existence are perfect. And when you are at that stage of starting over, it can be hard for you to remind yourself that on social media, people are probably showing the best versions of themselves, or the best parts of their days, their months, their weeks, and so on. But you are living your life every single day. So it can be hard for you to stop comparing someone's best moments with your lowest moment, or with your everyday life while you're starting over. So it could be crucial for you to delete social media, or at least reduce the use of social media, just to try and maintain your stability, you know, your mental sanity. One of the first apps that I deleted completely was LinkedIn, and I didn't just delete it, I also deactivated my account. As we speak, my account is still hibernating. I have roughly around maybe 6 to 8 months off LinkedIn, and I've never been happier, you know. On LinkedIn, everyone is always excited to announce something. And when you don't have anything to proudly announce, other than the fact that you've barely made it through another day, LinkedIn can be depressing. Okay, don't get me wrong, LinkedIn is a good app where you can find good opportunities and you can find a job on LinkedIn if you're in that position. But for me, it was extremely depressing because all my peers were always extremely proud of something. They always had something to proudly announce, and I had nothing to proudly announce other than the fact that I had just terminated an employment contract that I wasn't happy with, So obviously that's not something that you share on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not a space for people to be themselves. LinkedIn is a place for pretentious professionals. So I didn't really feel like it was a healthy space for me. So I chose to step away. But all I'm saying is, how certain things affect you. So definitely be cautious about your use of social media. Be aware of how the things that you're consuming on a daily basis affect you, your mental health, your happiness, and then act accordingly, react accordingly. If it's not good, cut it out. Then the second thing would be to reconnect with the simple things. Sometimes life just comes at us quickly. It comes at you fast, and it's very hard, but you have to react quickly. But I just want you to take moments to do the simple things that bring you happiness or enjoyment. It doesn't have to be something that makes you feel like you're being productive. It doesn't have to be something that would make sense to the next person. It just has to be something that you enjoy, something that makes you happy. So do that hobby. Reconnect with that thing that you used to do, something that you used to be good at and you completely stopped, maybe because you didn't have the time. Or do that thing that you've been telling yourself for 3 years now that you're going to finally learn how to do, or you're going to finally start doing it. Just do it for the sake of doing it. You don't have to have an end goal. You don't have to feel productive while doing it. Just set some time aside on, each and every day to do that. And that will bring you happiness. It may not be a happiness that is, that can be measured on a large scale, but I guarantee you that will also calm the storm for you. For me, that one thing that calmed the storm was crocheting and reading for leisure. Both activities are very calm, relaxed. They eased things for me. Crocheting is like a grandma activity, but I absolutely love it. I love exploring my creative side, just trying to challenge myself and creating new things every day. That definitely helped me out. It used to be a hobby of mine throughout university, but for some reason I kind of grew out of it in my final year. I think it's because I didn't have the time. I had my dissertation to get through and all the studying that I had to do. I just didn't do it, and then of course over time you just kind of forget about it as a hobby. So I'm very happy that I've reconnected with that part of me and that I've started crocheting again. And then reading for leisure, I remember one of my lecturers at university was like, "Oh, lawyers can't read novels." He made some comment along those lines, and of course it made sense to us because you have to read all these case laws, you have to read all these legislations, all these textbooks, so it doesn't make sense for you to have time to read a novel. But I used to absolutely love fiction, love reading novels. I used to read all the Twilight sagas, the Harry Potter sagas, and multiple other mystery, thriller, fantasy books back when I was younger. So I am so happy that I've started reconnecting with that side of myself again. I haven't been able to complete a book yet, but at least I do give myself some time to read every now and then, and that has been working out perfectly for me. So I would also urge you to just try to reconnect with the simple things. Try doing whatever it is that you like doing, or if you're looking for some ideas, I've been thinking of journaling, and I've been thinking of buying an adult coloring book just for the fun of it. It's something relaxing that I can do. So I think if you're looking for some ideas, that could be fun for you too, or helpful for you too. But whatever it is that you want to do, just do it. Just do it. You don't need to have a reason. Just do it. The third and one of the important things to do is to stop forcing a timeline. This is something that I myself am also trying to remind myself. I think so much of the anxiety comes from the fact that I have set timelines for myself. I feel, or I have this feeling that I must have achieved certain things by a certain point or by a certain age. So of course, when those things don't happen and I can see that the deadline is approaching, that gives me so much anxiety, and being anxious just doesn't help with anything. So I think that it's important to also remind yourself of that. I am trying to come to terms with things or with the flow of things, and I'm trying to remind myself every day that it's okay if it takes time. It is cool. It's fine. Good things take time, and it will all happen, all in good time. So yeah, that's something that I'm trying to remind myself. We can work on this together. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it taking time, okay? Absolutely nothing wrong. Then the next thing we're going to do is you're going to be honest with yourself. Do what feels good to you. Do what feels good to you. What feels more like you to you right now, Then do it. Don't do something that you believe looks good to other people, and definitely don't do something that other people are doing just because they're doing, because that is a part of their journey, that is a part of their trip on this earth. That is part of their process as well. They're also still learning. It's all our first time living. It's all trial and error for every single one of us. So don't do what someone else is doing just because they're doing it. That might not feel good to you, and that'll definitely lead you spiraling if that's not something that you're supposed to be doing. So just focus on yourself. Focus on you. What makes you happy? What makes you feel good? What feels like a passion for you right now? And try to do that. Just do you. And do you at your own time. Stop forcing timelines and stop forcing someone else's life to become yours. You're living an individual and unique life. So just do it. Just do that, live that life. And finally, accept that it won't be comfortable. I think this is probably one of the hardest things about this process, is accepting that it won't be easy and it definitely won't be comfortable. I think we understand that things are not easy, but for some reason it's hard for us to accept it. But once you have accepted it, you'll stop trying to rush things, and you'll stop trying to imitate someone else's life or do things at someone else's timeline. You'll just start living, and you'll start accepting things and letting things be what they are for a little bit. Just let it be what it is for a little bit. And that is pretty much all. But when it comes to this fifth part, I don't really have any advice, because I think that it's an individual process that you have to undergo on your own. You have to do it. You have to feel it. You have to feel the discomfort, and you have to like the discomfort. You have to find a way to like it. That's the only way that you can accept it. So I don't really have any advice in terms of that. But I think once you've truly accepted that it won't be comfortable, like I said, you'll just let it be what it is, and hopefully things will fall into place and we'll start making or painting a clearer picture for you. But like I said, it's only my first time being alive, and I've been alive for a little over 2 decades. So I'm not going to claim to be this life expert or this life coach. I'm definitely not that. It's my first time being alive too. But what I want from this is for us to learn and grow together. I want my channel to be a safe space for people going through, all different things in life. And I want it to be a safe space for people from all walks of life. I want it to just be safe. I want us to grow and learn together and become better versions of ourselves together. So I'm by no means saying that I'm a life guru or whatever. I am just giving tips that have worked for me. But also, I don't think starting over has ever been easy for anyone. I don't think it'll ever be easy for anyone in any age group, starting over from anything. But I can only speak for myself as a woman in my 20s. I believe that, the 20s are such a weird decade. They are a weird decade in your life where you are still young, you're immature, you're still having fun, you're still enjoying yourself, you're still making mistakes. But on the flip side, you're kind of expected to be mature. You are an adult, so you have all these adult responsibilities, and you are sort of expected to have your shit together which I think can make things harder or scarier than it actually should be. So yeah, if you are at the stage right now, I just want you to know that you are not the only one. You're not in this alone. I am there with you, and I am going through it. And I am certain that there are so many people in my country, in my continent, in other continents, so many people in the world who are also going through that stage right now. So you're absolutely not alone. And another thing that I feel I should remind you of, or I should at least tell you if nobody has told you this, is give yourself some grace, because you're probably doing way better than you think. You're probably doing so much better than you think. So just give yourself some grace, be kinder to yourself, and realize that Rome wasn't built in one day. You're making small progress every single day, and listen, that is all that matters. You're doing far better than you think, I promise you. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just don't lose the motivation. Just keep doing what you're doing, and remember to give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. And in case nobody has told you at all today, I just want to let you know that I'm proud of you, because you've been doing so good up until this point, and I know that you're going to continue doing great things, and you're going to certainly make yourself proud. Whether it's tomorrow, whether it's a month from now, whether it's 2 years from now, it doesn't matter. You will get to where you want to be, and you will make yourself proud. But for now, I am proud of you. Okay, I'm proud of you. And yes, just thank you all for, tuning into today's video. Thank you for sitting down with me today and joining my little TED talk or whatever. And until next time, I have been Bongi, and I will see you in my next one. Love you. Bye.